In 2023, a staggering 70% of people reported feeling unfulfilled in their lives. According to a study by the Gallup Global Emotions Report, this led to a growing wave of individuals seeking change, often turning to personal development and goal setting as pathways to fulfillment. Currently, a societal shift towards self improvement and financial independence is happening, with more people recognizing the power of setting tangible goals. This leaves many feeling anxious and uncertain about their future, wondering if they'll ever break free from the cycle of dissatisfaction and truly thrive. The solution is to embrace a proactive approach by defining your personal goals and taking actionable steps towards achieving them. Achieving goals in our modern society is very challenging because our brains evolve at such a slow rate. They evolve over thousands and thousands of years. And what made it possible for us to survive in the state of nature is now holding most of us back from achieving our long term goals. Dopamine is the main mechanism that makes small, meaningful tasks or activities as rewarding as they are. There's the pleasure pain balance that we need to take into account. As Anna Lemke mentions in her book Dopamine Nation, when we reach a really high peak of dopamine, the brain then takes this peak and sends us under the normal threshold of pain. Now, there's a difference between what we see as goals and where our brain is trying to direct us next. Take any desirable goal that exists: finding financial freedom, achieving a fitness goal, performing well in business or relationship, learning a new skill, and the list goes on and on. Compare these to what your brain wants: a slice of pizza, drinking a martini, another episode on Netflix, and so on. There are two main points to notice that distinguish between the desires of the mind and the desires of the brain. First, it's time. Compare how long it should take to become great at climbing versus eating an ice cream cone. Second, it's the bragging rights, or what you'd put on a resume. You don't brag about spending 14 hours a day on video games, but you might brag about winning the world championship. I learned this lesson the hard way. Autopiloting games, game after game, is not the way to go professional. Real practice sessions are not as rewarding to our brains as living through countless small, meaningless wins. But that's a subject for another day. Let's get back to dopamine, which exists to reinforce behaviors. It rewards us for survival actions we take in the state of nature. Most businesses today are built around this reward system. Take social media, pornography, video games. Pretty much all of these domains are engineered to exploit the system for profit. These lead to what I call aimless goals, which are automatic behaviors, like when we scroll through social media or watch YouTube videos on repeat, and if we engage in other addictions as well. And that's not even talking about drugs. Coffee, alcohol, and other drugs. These are all created as businesses for people to profit from. Here's why that matters. There are aimless goals, and there are aimful goals. Most of the time, you don't consciously decide to go for a slice of pizza or get a chocolate bar and just shove it down your throat. These are signals from the brain that we don't always notice. Of course, if you're a bit more conscious about your actions or decisions, this is something you've probably experienced. Aimful goals, on the contrary, are intentional and they require effort. Examples include advancing a career, running 5 miles, joining a book club, and sharing what you've read from the last book. These goals rely on delayed gratification. Sometimes people say they offer deeper satisfaction because they provide personal growth and pride. Delayed gratification is real. You can get a lot of satisfaction without engaging in addictive behaviors. But I don't think we should expect as high of a peak. I think that's one of the mistakes most of us fall into when we think about it. This brings me to another point, which is the difficulty of addiction loops. It's wired for short-term rewards. I don't really like to criticize industries or companies, but they are really pushing the limits of addictive behaviors, and they're doing it at such a young age that it's hard not to talk about it in this context. It's hard not to feel the pull for any of those activities, because they spend so much effort understanding how the brain works and how to use that knowledge to their advantage. The other difficulty with addiction loops is that these behaviors don't take effort at all. It's really easy to fall into them, contrary to everything that's long term and that takes effort to really achieve your goals. But there are still ways, still very good ways to break the cycle and find some kind of balance in your life. To feel fulfilled and to notice that even though it's more rewarding for our brain to engage in these addictive behaviors, we can still push through and reach our goals. So we find ourselves constantly searching for the next high. To break the cycle, you can engage in aimful activities, of course, like martial arts, learning a musical instrument. This really works against the brain's short-term instincts for a long-term payoff. These activities may challenge you, but they will reward you with a deeper sense of fulfillment and you will find joy, especially in balance. There's another thing I wanted to talk about. The challenge is, of course, to constantly choose aimful goals over automatic dopamine driven behaviors. We need to keep in mind that to rewire our brains, to make long term success feel natural and effortless, we really need to keep fighting against our survival instincts. And that loops back to what I started this video with. Remember, breaking free from aimless behaviors starts with taking intentional steps. If you're ready to dive deeper and learn how to take action right now, intensely and without stopping, check out my previous video. If you like this one, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to support the channel so I can continue creating content like this one. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.